And so gathering the breath, the mind, the body, this tender present heart, and then just taking good deep breaths whenever you can capture them. And then release, settling in, offering yourself another. Let's do it one more time. With the release of that third out breath, inviting the mind towards this whole body sitting. That's the first instruction. And the mind, by its nature, is touching into contact points. You wouldn't even have to do this. Noticing the knee, the feet, and there's a little bit of chaos in that contact. We could organize that by just making contact with the feet. I'm feeling the cool breeze on the feet, the foam beneath the feet, the warmth, the pressure, maybe the felt sense of a rug or a cloth or a mat, floor. And remembering the goodness of the feet, soaking in the good as we make contact with these feet. The good, by the way, that is already here. We're not having to construct the ideas of goodness with these feet. My feet are working. Can we be in joy and gladness and gratitude and appreciation? One might say in knowing the blessings of the feet. And you don't have to positivize any of the feet. There might also be an ache, a pain, a tenderness, a pinch. But for right now, we're going to place our primary attention on the way these feet, the ones right here, are working. Breathing into the feet and out from the feet. We touch in with each in-breath. Knowing the feet. And with the out breath, we simply relax the feet, letting them be as they are. There's nothing to remove, dismiss, get rid of. We're just relaxing into the whole experience of the feet. And then we're going to move up into the area of the legs and the seat. We're going to do this somewhat quickly. I just want you to get the idea. Remember, with the in-breath and one's attention, open, spacious attention, we turn towards the goodness of the legs, the seat, the hips. Now, the habit of mind here, see if you've noticed it, is to look for the pleasant. And remember, this is going to cost us something when the unpleasant, which by its nature is also a truth, arises. But we can also appreciate the whole of the legs, the whole of the hips, and their goodness. As an intentioned mind object. Now, I just got an injection in the knee yesterday, and that injection worked immediately. I have an inflammation there. And so I'm really noticing a lot of appreciation in the legs. That's naturally expanding. I'm going to try to stay focused just on the experience in the legs. And in the seat, can we call to mind right now the goodness available in the area of the legs and the hips? The way this body has worked, all of its contributions, as well as its challenges. Remember, we're not leaving anything out. Can we bring that appreciation, that knowing for this lower part of the body? And then we're going to do a little practice, seeing if in that spacious mind, we can also include the tender, the vulnerable. I'm recollecting now the sensitivity in my knee over the last many weeks. Its limited function. I'm even recollecting my distress about the knee and its healing. But can I hold it in the context of the whole leg, the whole body? And then we could continue to expand, couldn't we, to the whole of life? We are not trying to minimize experience. We're trying to hold it all in that spaciousness, in that expandedness, not minimizing the knee and not contracting around the knee. This is the habit of mind, to contract around just me and my problem knee. It is not the whole truth. And so you get the idea here. We're going to come to rest now in the area of the breathscape. Chest, belly, diaphragm, and abdomen. And the early instructions around this soaking in the good, which is a very modern contemporary term, the instruction in the early Buddhist teachings was simply to abide the breath, remembering the preciousness of this human life. That was the beginning version of soaking in the good. Abide this breath, knowing the preciousness of this human life. Accorded to few. And the beauty of the human incarnation is that you can know the breath is the breath. You can know this moment as this moment. You can choose the scope and scale of the knowing. I can just focus on the breath. I can open wide to hold the whole of the 5 sense doors and the knowing mind. Look at the authority and agency offered to us in this human incarnation. It's vast. And it is understood that to remember its preciousness means that we will use it with intention. If we recollect and understand the true preciousness of the gift of this mind, this heart, this body being, that we will continue to strive to use it well towards the good. From acknowledging the preciousness of this human life, the additional instruction is enjoy the breath. And so then rest the mind in joy, in awareness of the breath. Now, by the way, it didn't say just the breaths you like, or you don't have to do it with the breath you don't like. Rest the mind in the knowing, breath by breath. The short ones and the long ones. The contracted one and the easeful one. Be in joy of them all. And of course, recognizing the preciousness is gratitude, naturally leading to joy. And can you soak in the good breath by breath? And then what quality of mind, what quality of mind would be required to see each breath truly as the gift? We're going to move beyond the breath now to open and include the body as a whole. Once again, sitting here. Can we recognize the preciousness, the privilege of this human body? Whatever is right, whatever is wrong. Breathing the whole body. And be glad, take delight in the knowing, the gift of this human body. And its vulnerabilities. And its impermanence. And its unreliability. We know that things are constantly changing. And yet, can we know the goodness, see the blessings and the merits in this human body? And then we move beyond the breath, beyond the body, into recollection. Can we recollect all the good that has been done in this lifetime by this body, this mind, and this heart? Can we recollect the good, the love, the care, the gratitude and appreciation? And then for a moment, just recollecting one specific moment of kindness, of care, of appreciation. And feel into that embodied sense. How was it sitting, being in that mind body? As you were offering that goodness. Might have been advice, it might have been listening, it might have simply been presence. I happen to have been problem solving with someone who invited that, needed that. And I can feel that sense of full presence. It's somewhat timeless. It's personless. I'm just going to leave that there, see if you can figure out what that means. Personless. And can you feel the connection, the presence, the open-heartedness, the embodiment? Of love, of care, of gratitude. Soaking in the good. And that's frequently felt as kind of inner goodness radiating out. Which of course it does. That's its only capacity, is expanding. But goodness by its nature, love by its nature, care, generosity, kindness by its nature is multi-directional. And so we're going to expand our awareness now beyond our own goodness, the privilege and preciousness of this human life. We're going to open to just this present moment for a second, expanding beyond the body into spacious awareness. I hear traffic and birds and the sound of my voice. I can feel the breeze on my face and my feet. I can hear the fountain. I can smell the earth. And in this more expanded state, can we rest in the goodness all around us, including that little rice racer going down the 5. Can we hold it all in its goodness? Beyond privilege, beyond prejudice, just as it is this moment. And see where you can feel that gratitude, that appreciation for both the things you like and maybe even the things you don't like. Can you notice a certain capacity to open equally to both the things you prefer and even the things you don't prefer? And what is the quality of heart mind? And can we soak in the good? The good of hearing, the good of sound, the good of touch, the good of smells, of taste, and even of seeing, even with the eyes closed. And can we soak then in the vastness, the goodness of knowing itself? Noticing and knowing preference, knowing and noticing hot from cold, pleasant from unpleasant. Open, distracted. Can we rest in the goodness of knowing? And then can we rest in the open, boundless heart that responds to the knowing? this loving presence that wants happiness, ease, well being, joy, equanimity. The goodness of loving presence. No extra sweetener required. The beauty of this human life, the beauty of the open heart, even in the face of conflict. We are capable of this. Soak in the good. And today and tomorrow, we will be celebrating the goodness of fathers. Fathers that are also human, vulnerable, flawed. And we soak in the goodness of fathers. Those we knew, those who acted in the role. And once again, without needing to separate from the truth of human vulnerability, the goodness abides even there. And then recollecting for a moment the impact of that goodness on you. What is alive in that goodness in you? And then soaking in the good for a moment from all directions, from all sense doors, from past, present, and future. The goodness of the elements, the goodness of the earth. The goodness of connection, community. Goodness of you. And do not mistake goodness for perfection. That's actually a demand and frequently takes us away from the reality of the goodness. May we all be happy. May we all be well. May we all be filled with loving kindness and recognize that kindness, that goodness, that humanness in others. The mind takes the shape of that which it rests upon. So let it rest in the goodness of open space. That we can choose to fill. And may this practice be a benefit. Brad, I see that you're on. I was thinking of your dad. I'm certain you were also.
Thank you.
So can we see, could you feel the quality of mind that has a tendency to want to grab on to something pleasant? And then when the unpleasant arises, you're caught now, aren't you? You're divided, you could say, or there's probably some better word for that. You're split, torn, says Camille, right? Now it's like, yeah, good, not so good. Liking that, and not so much. This is not the goodness we're talking about at all, is it? It really is not based in any way on preferencing. And it's a big habit of ours, isn't it? We like what is pleasant. And we name that good, don't we? It's a go, we assign right away. The goodness is there because I love X, Y, or Z. And that is not the goodness we're talking about at all. And could you feel the difference? The way the other actually just expands and includes it, right in the vulnerability now, right in the picking up the phone during dinner, right in that, right? It's not like the goodness is lost at all. It's not true, is it? It's not true. Doesn't diminish the goodness, actually, not even slightly. The cawing of the crow does not diminish the silence. It does not diminish the beautiful sound of the fountain. But we, by our limited attention, that's what I was looking for. That's actually the word I was, limited attention, right? Only this, just this. The whole is now parsed in the preferencing. And now there is suffering. That's the understanding. And now there will be suffering. And you can't get out of it. Now you can't get out of it. Now the only thing I can see is the guy chewing with his mouth open, not the 50 plus years of goodness. Really, look at the consequence of that. One moment. It's like gone, like doesn't even exist. Whoop, not there. And the consequence of that is, of course, not to the other, it's to you. Isn't it? Where does all isolation, all separation, all disconnect, all aloneness come from? Right there. Right there. That attention, that mind. That went, nah, not that. Now, it doesn't mean hard things don't happen. And this is tends to be good day, bad day. Look at how we define them. How do we define the day? Not by our aliveness, not by our presence, not at all by, well, it's a little cloudy out there. I don't know. Gonna ruin my picnic. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Not unless I let it. Right? And don't we? My tough day, my hard day, right? It may have been a day where there was changes or uncertainties. This is the groundless nature of this human life. It was there. It is true. You weren't wrong. And then the pipes burst, said Camille. Right?
Feels like they are even the most insensitive person in my mind. I've decided so. Feels the energy of you, your presence.
Of course.
With that. And yes. It is very much effective.
Of course. Even if you don't see that, even if there's, right, this is how we know that really the calmness, the presence of another, right in the line at the grocery store. And you know it too. You know it too. Right? Now, by the way, does it eliminate, again, the vulnerabilities of this life? It does not. It all the more, it's included, isn't it? Because now I have some agency around it. And just that's the goodness also. I can choose not to collapse in the midst of you're being a dope or me being snarky or, right? It doesn't mean they're not happening. This is not the point. We're not looking to eliminate these realities. We're going, and then how do I respond? Where is the goodness? Even in this. And we have a tendency, don't we? Very quickly, the mind appraises good, bad, right, wrong, liking, not liking, and determines the day by the preference, rather than determining the day by the privilege. And who doesn't have that? Who doesn't have the privilege? We all have it because we're practitioners, right? We know there's choice making even here, right in the middle of my going, rah. I don't know. And I don't even have to get rid of that. I just have to recognize it for what it really is. My own fear, my own vulnerabilities, my own uncertainty, my own humanness. And can I hold that in its goodness also? Yes, and in fact, the more I hold it, I will tell you, the less likely I am to act it out.
Di,
Yes.
it's Robin. The interesting thing for me in several situations that I'm in right now is to hold my goodness, but to also set boundaries for myself in the presence of, yeah, just to set boundaries, to hold the goodness, but to set boundaries and know that there's a difference between holding goodness and
Get run over.
allowing myself to be run over or.
You mean get run over? Well, that wouldn't be goodness, would it?
No, I mean, hold the goodness and set a boundary so that I don't
Yeah, I hear you.
get run over
good-
or I
goodness-
don't get too exhausted or I
goodness
just
can
think it's
do it.
hard to hold those things.
I'm curious about how that is, because honestly, goodness wouldn't let you get run over. There'd be no space for that.
Yeah.
How could it happen? That in
Um,
recognizing your goodness, you would let anyone do that. It couldn't happen.
that's the difference. I'm trying to look for their goodness. And
Oh,
I think that is exactly what I needed to hear.
yes.
So I
That's
could-
the difference. I'm
No,
looking for their goodness.
well, that's lovely, but not before you remember yours. We start always
Yeah.
here. And out of your goodness, I hope you can see also the good in another and also the benefits to everyone from that goodness, which is we will not allow harm. That couldn't be good. Who could benefit? I mean, no one could benefit. It's not just you, the victim. The other is as victimized now, aren't they? By playing out
Right.
of reactivity or aggression. And again, we know where it really comes from, but even in the knowing, it doesn't mean you go, okay, I guess I'll let you. No, you don't. You go, loving me and you. We cannot allow this. And that is tricky business because we do tend to get into the me-ing or the you-ing, but not holding the both. It's actually harder, isn't it?
It is hard.
It is harder. Yeah, it's a bigger space. You can see we lose our way a little bit in it. By the way, I'll just stay with the word attention for a moment. We won't even get into love and care. And just in attention, we have to practice holding open space without getting right. The more objects, the more we can get tossed by it, which is part of the reason we practice also. And when the attention is sustained and stable, the truth is I don't get into the me use as much. I'm not, my own mind is not in that movement. I am, here we are, right? Me and you, us and them. We can hold the whole better. And this is often just old believed. We get some training for this, I think also, right? Both familial, cultural, collective, which is if you're a good person, you this, or you allow, or you don't speak up, right? There's trainings that we have by virtue of family constructions and all the way out. Women don't do that.
I have a lot of that.
I suspect. I suspect that came from somewhere. Our culture has it, right? So let's even say, right, that we've all gotten that collective, people, these people are like that, and these other people are like this, and because you're this, you should do that. I mean, it's just part of what's in the acculturation. And, there's some goodness there too. All right, it's sometimes a little workable to go, well, there's privilege in it as well, but there's also consequence. We're looking at that more, aren't we? In our culture, it's why we're in, I think, this little bit, we're in the ungrounded state of going, wait a minute, is it only white people or white guys? That's not working out very well. Is it only, what about everybody? What about, and what's female and what's male? And where do you, right? There's a lot of inquiry around those acculturated, bought in beliefs, and it's ungrounding, isn't it? It's ungrounding. Also, because now I don't know. I hear this from, like, I don't know what's going on now. I told you my mother was in the bathroom with a guy who came to wash his hands next to her, and she was sure she was in the wrong bathroom and walked out to look at the sign on the door, and she didn't understand the sign at the door because it was male, female now. And now she's looking like, what? I don't know where even to go to the bathroom now. What's the right thing? And we don't like this, do we? We don't like the uncertainty. We don't like the not getting it right. We don't like the questions. We don't, and actually that's closer to our truth, isn't it? What do we really know? Mostly nothing. Just like my mother going, I don't even know. I don't even know. Should I stay in there? Should I leave? What, where, is there another place? I don't know. And this was a simple task, you know, something she has likely done pretty easily, with now the whole thing being thrown up in the air. And we don't like that space. But I actually think it's the bardo of growth. I think it's lovely to be in that going, you know, I don't totally know. And it will require attention, presence, inquiry, curiosity, so that I don't just think, how do I say this? I don't know how to say it. I'll give you the metaphor. I went with my grandfather the last year of his life to the fair because the fair is not now. And he looked down the row of roses. Anybody been to the fair and see these roses? There are, I don't know how many thousands of roses in a line, going all the way down. And I thought, oh no, he's going to want to smell every single rose. And I was like, oh my God. And that's exactly correct. We looked at every single rose. And I could not get over the colors, the texture, the petal shapes, right? He just like blew my world open with the level of attention he had cultivated that I had not yet cultivated. Right. And the only thing I could think was, there goes my day. Yeah. And we were there for hours, of course. And one of my greatest memories. Right. And so we learn, don't we, like that? First going, I don't know. I didn't really sign up for kind of that. And then being, I'll call it schooled by virtue of the real experience, called this is really what happens when we show up, actually. And so, Robin, maybe you're getting a little bit schooled, and I don't have to give all of me up in order to have relationship. And that would be good.
I think any family situation is an opportunity to be schooled. At my house.
Every single moment is an opportunity. Yeah, especially those, because they're going to be somewhat on the repeat cycle if we're lucky.
Yeah, because I'm at my dad's house, so not my home.
Yes.
And I'm in Denver, so it's a whole sibling experience.
That's right. And we're all getting schooled, right? We're all learning. We're all running up against our own limitations, our own prejudice, our own preference. And can we see the goodness even in that? Right? Can you recognize the goodness even in the, I didn't see that. or I didn't know that, or wow, look at the contraction in me of that. These are beautiful teachings. Somebody just wrote that. That was Brad, right? The real lesson of waking up, where we see our own shutdown and don't shut down some more in the face of it, but open. This is radical. Instead of just going right, rant, with that, we actually open something, and with intention and curiosity, commit ourselves. Like, let's try to stay open like this and in the goodness of it. Remembering, I think they say, that if we can recollect the goodness of this, the whole of this life, it doesn't mean it doesn't come with suffering. That was the first noble truth. But that there is a response to it, isn't there? There is a response to it. And we are capable of this. That's huge. There is not just suffering, there is a response to it. And that we are capable of this. And I guess that's the goodness you can't get away from. That's the privilege, is we can wake up, we can be kind, we can hesitate instead of just do harm. That's a pretty big deal, I'd say. Wouldn't you? I'd say. And so in this weekend where we're celebrating family and dads and having our feelings, many of us for not having our dads. For some of us, I know, Robin, you're in a particularly vulnerable and beautiful space with that as well. Brad also, that we really open to the goodness in it all. Even the breaking heart, like the goodness in that.
It was super precious. My dad wasn't affectionate when we grew up, like we didn't sit on his lap and stuff. We knew he loved us. But the other day he was lying down and he said, "I just want to hold your hand." And it'll be one of the best memories of this time, because it was so out of character and so lovely.
Yes, he doesn't have to be in character now.
Nope.
Isn't that fabulous?
At 97.
We don't have to be contracted by rules and ego, but that's the way I've always done it, so that's the way I need to do it. And it gets so much bigger. And we try not to wait till the end.
Yeah.
To do it, to expand into that. We try to do it every day in some way. And then it becomes even more compelling. Because like, we don't have forever. We only have now. And then you sing the song you didn't know you could sing. Right? You sing the song you didn't even know you could sing. And this is goodness. So, all right, if there's not anything else, thank you all. We'll sit for just another minute together before we close. Thank you all for joining. It has seemed to have gotten a little cooler,
Yeah.
even since we sat out here for the hour. It's amazing how life keeps happening, doesn't it? And I'm guessing it will continue to change. So, all right, we're going to sit together for just a minute. Julie, good to see you in case you have to go. Let's be here together. I want to begin by recognizing the goodness of the Sangha. Just breathing that in. The Sai made a request to support a young man, and we got this young guy outfitted for camp, collected monies for future needs. He is one of our Sangha members has actively supported, and he needs our help. This is at-risk youth. So thank you all so much for that goodness. The response was beautiful. And then once again, recollecting all the goodness being offered to us this day. Right here in the stability of the earth, which is just holding us. The warmth of the sun that's still shining, even with those clouds. And even the goodness in the clouds. Their moisture. And then moving beyond the elements into those we love and their goodness. Whether they held your hand or they didn't. All the ways in which they also supported you. And then beyond still to the neighbors who are peaceable. Most days. Even if not every day. And a world that is striving for some kind of order and peace as well. Now with 8 billion people, it's really quite amazing. And may we recognize the privilege and the preciousness of the choice to respond. The choice to respond. And the goodness of that. And may we call to mind all those fathers, all those who have been like fathers, the coaches, the teachers, the protectors, the caring ones. And may we celebrate them at least in our heart minds today, tomorrow. Remembering their goodness. And the goodness they have left for you. And in that remembering then, and in that responding from that goodness, other goodness will come and be lived and shared and breathed, making it a very good day. So good. Thank you all so much. Let's live the goodness. Live the goodness. Live it. Thinking about it will not be sufficient. There'll be infinite opportunities, won't there? To make it live. Betsy has, I'm sorry for those of you who were here who couldn't enjoy it, gluten-free peanut butter cookies with little chocolate things in them. And I have to say, I'm not a fan of gluten-free, but these are amazing. So I don't know where she got that recipe, but it's pretty good. I went, nah, I don't know about gluten free. Oh, well, I'm taking that all back. See how we grow? Now I know even gluten free cookies can be good cookies. So I'm sorry for those who can't enjoy them. They were also brought and here to celebrate you and the Sangha. So thank you all so much. Everyone have a really wonderful weekend, rain or shine, cool or warm, however it is. All right, everyone, be well. Julie, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Brad, always. Everyone have a good day. Happy Father's Day to you, Dennis.